So our dictator in chief let a lot of his friends off the hook today. People like Rod Boyanovich, who seriously, you got to take a look at this guy. He seriously looks like if Leatherface was like trying to be a politician. I kid you, I'm not even trying to be mean. Rod Blanovich's face does not look like it belongs to him. It looks like he got it from someone else. Anyway, the three most notable are Rod Boyanovich, Bernard Killick, and Eddie uh, DeBartolo Jr. Just call him Eddie Jr. from here on. Um, anyway, the three guys. We'll start with Bernard Killick. He basically did tax evasion, and he got like 4 years for that. Uh, Eddie Jr. He essentially he kind of got in trouble for running and operating a casino without a license. He never really did any major time or anything. He was just forced. He has a pretty dark mark on his record, and he was forced to give up ownership, sort of, to the 49ers. He ended up giving it to his sister, so he didn't really give up ownership. Um, and then it takes us to Rod Boyanovich, who he for sure did probably commit the most heinous crime out of all of them. And essentially, what he tried to do was he tried to sell an open seat, one that actually opened or belonged to Obama prior. And yes, he literally tried to sell that position. And not only is that fuck with democracy, and really comes off as super swampy, uh, it it really I think is the only crime committed that deserved the sentencing it got. But Trump let all of his buddies off the hook. Again, the other two, not Boyanovich, but the other two involved, I don't really have a problem with what Trump did. Like, I have an issue that Trump is going around, putting his thumb on the scale and letting his friends get away with committing crimes. I think that's a problem. I do. But when I actually break down what his friends did, it's it's not that big of a deal. Um, the I would say the optics of it are far more damaging. And I mean, think about if Venezuela was doing this, if Maduro was openly doing this, and we heard about, oh, Maduro got impeached. Did you guys hear about that? Yeah, yeah. His people are trying to throw him out. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now he's letting all of his friends who are hardened criminals. He's letting them out. We would immediately try to stage another coup and try to get America behind it. So the optics there are incredibly damning. And the the problem with Trump's actions are that they're damning to the American people. And in this place where we have a billionaire running against a billionaire, with everyone's favorite grandpa being the only outlier, and meanwhile, social or mainstream media and everyone else is bashing everyone's grandpa but loves the billionaires, it's it doesn't do much for democracy. Let's be honest. It makes this whole system just ripe for a hand grenade, so to speak. And and that's the main problem with what Trump's doing. The other issue that people have been talking about is, does this leave the door open for Roger Stone, for Paul Manafort? And I think the answer is yes. I think if it wasn't a signal to them, then it was at least a wink and a nod to say, yeah, you guys are getting off fairly, and if you look at what they did as well, I don't think it's incredibly problematic that he does that for people. But I think that if we do anything with any of this, I would unfortunately push somebody like Kim Kardashian or somebody who could get in the president's ear and have a conversation about sentencing, about the severity in which we are punished for crimes. Because that's the only thing we can take out of this is we need to have that conversation. That a man who tries to get away with stealing or keeping his own tax, his own money instead of giving to the government, should not shouldn't do 5 years up to 10 years in prison. That's ridiculous. Come on. It's a shitty thing to do, but that doesn't warrant prison time. Or a man who fucks up and probably doesn't get a license. I mean, the thing with Eddie Jr. is his dad was way worse. To actually look into him, I actually thought he did what his dad did when I was researching for the story, and oh my god. But yeah, so he ran a riverboat casino without a license. Yeah, it's a problem, but is it that big of a deal? I do think with Roger Stone, he was tampering with a witness, and that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. But for nonviolent crimes, we need to stop having these sentences that are anywhere from 2 years to 40 years in some cases. We really need to have that conversation. We need to do something about that. If there's nothing we can take from this whole situation with our Banana Republic style dictator in charge, it's to maybe lessen the prison sentences for average people. Don't know if it'll happen, but maybe we can get the conversation started. Anyway, I'm curious what you guys think about that. Um, and I'm sure there's going to be the people, who listen to the show on the left who are going to say, yeah, this is a super big problem. And it shows he's meddling with our justice system, and I agree. I do agree with that. But I'm curious about everyone's opinions on all of it. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good evening.